5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You play Russian roulette this way.
Deep down in places you don't talk about at parties. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Keep this frequency clear.
And now it's conspiracy. See, they've made that something that should not be even entertained for a minute, that powerful people might get together and have a plan. Doesn't happen. You're a kook. You're a conspiracy buff.
You're watching The Truth is Viral, the only news program on the internet trusted to deliver the truth since 2008. And now, here's your host, Mr. Bobby Powell.
Welcome back to The Truth is Viral. I'm your host, Bob Powell, and the subject of today's lesson is why I need a gun. For self-defense, that's one good reason. If you didn't notice, the Twitterverse exploded with death threats from the left and anti-gun nuts that wanted to kill people that were NRA members. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm stuttering. It's like 25 degrees out here. Crazy weather. It was 70 yesterday. But anyway, yeah, they're going nuts. Alex Jones was threatened after his Piers Morgan interview. One of these left-wing nutbags decided he'd say, you know, Piers, you got to invite Alex onto your show and take him up on that fight thing. As soon as he walks in the ring, you pop him with a semi-auto.
It is pathetic. It is ridiculous that you are allowed, I don't care what the justification is, that you are allowed in this country to own a semi-automatic weapon, much less a handgun. But what do you need a semi-automatic weapon for? The only reason I think you need it is, Pierce, challenge Alex Jones to a boxing match, show up with a semi-automatic that you got legally, and pop him.
I'd love to see that. In uniform.
Now, if someone from the right had said that, there would be an outrage. Okay, this is something that happens all the time. And it's not just generally directed at NRA members either. I've had threats on my own life. Got another one just this morning. Simply for being a Republican. And I'm not even a Republican. But just because I want to keep my guns, the guy thinks that I should die. Now, I think it was 3 weeks ago now, there was a rapper by the name of The Game that was getting into a Twitter war with conservative commentator Michelle Malkin. And he was calling her a bitch and a whore and just generally being nasty. And he said that everybody should boycott Michelle Malkin and boycott Fox. Well, even though Michelle does not need my help, she's perfectly capable of taking care of herself, I thought I should weigh in on this. And I took a look at his latest work. It's a piece of garbage called Jesus Piece, and his album art is absolutely blasphemous. So I said, boycott blasphemous Jesus Piece. All of a sudden, everybody that was attacking Michelle Malkin, oh, and there were hundreds of them, started attacking me. You know, words don't bother me. But the death threats, you know, as a public figure, I get death threats sometimes. 5 years ago, somebody said that he was going to cut my son's head off, some Muslim scumbag, for something that I'd said. Well, that happens. People don't like what I say, they get hate mail. But this one particular scumbag tweeted that he was going to rape my wife. Well, the feds are looking for you. I don't put up with that kind of garbage. And if the feds don't find you out in LA, you come to Michigan, state police are looking for you. If you get past them, sheriff's looking for you. If you get past them, my posse's looking for you. Yeah, I got a posse too. And they're all rednecks. And if you get past them, you're going to have to get past me. And brother, that's not going to happen. I'm going to tell you a story now. About the only time that I've ever unholstered my weapon with the intent of using it. I was going to college in Detroit, working as a private investigator. And I was driving through this Wendy's drive-through, just ordering a burger, when all of a sudden, into the parking lot comes screeching this van. And a woman is falling out of the van, stumbling out of the passenger seat. She's on the ground. And out of the driver's seat, the driver comes around and he's got a crowbar in his hand, or tire iron, something like that. He starts hitting her. So I get out of my car, I unholster my .357, and I walk up to him and I say, if you don't drop that, I'm going to drop you. And you'd better believe I meant it. So he's looking down the barrel of my .357 and he's got a decision to make, and it took him about 2 seconds to make that decision. He lowered his tire iron, he got back in his van, the woman ran in the Wendy's. I never saw either one of them again. Now statistically, she went back to him the very next day. That's just the way it happens. But because the responsible gun owner was there, she had that decision to make. She was alive to make that decision. The police, God love them, they got a very hard job, but 99 times out of 100, they're just there to investigate the crime that's already happened and go lock up the people that did it, if they can find them. Crime prevention starts with armed citizens. Gun-free zones are not gun-free zones. They're free fire zones. And any nut with a gun that's got a bad attitude and wants to take it out on somebody else is going to go there because he knows nobody else is going to be armed. Law-abiding citizens don't carry their weapons into a gun-free zone. So there's nobody to stop him. He's got at least 5 to 7 minutes to kill people before the police arrive. The stupidity of the anti-gun people never ceases to amaze me. If I was on the Piers Morgan show, I would ask him one question, and then he would kick me off his show, because I would tear him a new butt. But this one question is this: do you honestly believe that a criminal is going to obey gun laws? It doesn't get any simpler than that. That's the only question that needs to be asked. Is a criminal going to obey gun laws? I think the answer to that is obvious. I like to hunt too. This is a Mini 14. Its design was based on the M14 used in Vietnam. It's got a nice wood stock, beautiful barrel. This is my rifle. There are many like it, but this one's mine. Some of you will remember that phrase. Her name's Delynn, and I'm pretty good with her. Because I love to hunt. I didn't get to go hunting this year at all. Totally missed out. It's got a 5-round clip in it. And when you're hunting, that's all you need. But next year, there's a 10-point buck with whom I have an appointment. But the Second Amendment is not about hunting now, is it? This cute little deer rifle can be turned into something quite different. You see, the Second Amendment is not about personal protection. The Second Amendment is not about hunting. The Second Amendment was put in the Constitution by the founders because they knew the threat that ordinary people face from tyrannical governments. And they did not want us to have to fight again for our freedom the way they fought and bled. If you deny that governments can become tyrannical, you're fooling yourself. China, Russia, Cambodia, the Muslim states in Europe, Turkey and Azerbaijan. Governments become tyrannical all the time. Just because it hasn't happened here for a long time doesn't mean that it can't. You know, I see a lot of anger on the internet today. And I can see that it's coming to a boiling point. Yeah, I'm really not looking forward to that. Because you see these anti-gun nuts all the time threatening to kill everybody that likes guns, that likes to hunt or wants to protect their families. You don't hear that kind of stuff coming from responsible gun owners. But the point is, people are getting anxious. This rush on guns, I did a story on that last week. The gun shelves are bare. You can't even find any ammunition. Why is this? Well, people are scared. And I find it interesting to note that this rush on guns and ammunition didn't happen until it looked like the government was going to say you can't have it. Because it's when the government says that you can't have it, that's when you need it. I really am praying that Christ will come before I ever have to use this thing on another human being. I'm not going to go out looking for trouble, but if trouble comes looking for me, they're going to have a fight on their hands. On February 8th, I'll be addressing a pro-Second Amendment rally in Lansing, Michigan. From 10 o'clock until 12, licensed gun owners are going to be down there protesting their right to carry a handgun Michigan is an open carry state, and it's going to be a great time. If you can, please come down and meet me and bring your American flags, and let's wave them for patriotism. Let's wave them for what this country used to be. I don't know if it will ever get back to that again. But it's sure worth hoping for, isn't it? Now, this rally is going to be held in the capitals of all 50 states. It's being organized by these folks right here. Just go to their Facebook page, let them know that you're going to be attending, and that you are going to stand up for your rights as an American citizen, that you will not back down. We have drawn a line in the sand this far and no further. If you want our guns, you are going to have to take them. And you're not going to have an easy time with it either. Sheriffs all over this country are manning up, and they're doing what's right. The sheriff down in Kentucky had something really interesting to say.
I'm responsible for the people inside this county. On the outside of this county, they're important to us, but I'm not responsible for them. Their sheriff is going to have to stand up and make his own decision as to what he's going to do for his people. And I looked, and I couldn't justify if Obama passes this. It doesn't matter what he passes. The sheriff has more power than the federal people. They need to go back and they study that. We're a commonwealth. I can ask the federal people to leave, they have to leave. I can ask state people to leave, they have to leave. What I'm saying is this is our home. I'm an elected official, the highest elected official. From this point on, it's appointed by a government, it's appointed by somebody else, but this is the only opportunity that the people have to speak for themselves as to this is what we want. And so I take that very, very personal. They've entrusted me to make a decision for them. And so it's easy to say, well, then, how are you going to, we're going to pull these guns? I said, you're never going to pull a gun from Jackson County. I can justify an elderly person keeping a firearm. I can justify a young person keeping a firearm. There's nobody I really don't understand that doesn't need to have one. Just like when we come into a group, I look at people, and I know who packs and who doesn't pack. Some of them legally, some of them illegally. But that's their right. The Second Amendment makes that very clear. And our forefathers made that very clear. Otherwise, they would have been so high on the amendment, it would have been down the list someplace, but it was so important to them. And I look back today, and this is the part that's emotional, to me, is I would be ashamed if one of them was in this room right now and having to listen to what we're having to talk about. I would be ashamed to have them sit here and listen to all the people that have given their lives for this right for us, and we just give it up so flippantly just because somebody says so.
A local sheriff is taking a stand against gun control and the president, vowing to defend his citizens' rights to weapons and ammunition.
I felt like I needed to give it a shot anyway, just to let them folks back there in D.C. know, there's a lot of other people out here in this country that have a differing opinion, especially folks in law enforcement, and I'm one of them folks. And so I just told my deputies, hey, look, I'm not going to turn otherwise honest citizens into criminals because of some misguided efforts from, the U.S. Capitol.
And I believe that his feelings are echoed by sheriffs all across this nation. So you guys better think twice before you try to take these weapons. Now, again, I need to reiterate, I have never, I will never, and I am not now advocating violence of any kind. But you have a right to defend yourself. It's a God-given right, and nobody can take that away. Barack Obama cannot legislate that away with a stroke of his pen. It's coming, ladies and gentlemen. Thing that we feared for a long time. I'm praying as hard as I can that innocent people will be spared to the largest extent possible. But sometimes, as I've learned, the answer to a prayer is no. But we can keep on hoping, can't we? Keep on praying. And that's all I got for today. Till the next time, as always, God bless. Semper Fi. Hoorah.
Thank you for watching The Truth is Viral with your host, Bobby Powell. Make sure to follow The Apocalypse on Twitter at The Truth is Viral. Like The Truth is Viral on Facebook, and if you can, please remember to donate to the cause via PayPal at www.bobpowell.blogspot.com.